it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another Sophomore Drome. 2 albums go in, one will come out, and this is the penultimate one before the new Battle Royal starts. And today it is a viewer's request. I don't know if it was Mick or Pulsar that asked for this, and it's The Doors against the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So as always, the album that was out first goes first, and in this case it was The Doors, and their sophomore album is called Strange Days, and this came out on the 25th of September 1967. So Jim Morrison does vocals and a bit of moog, Ray Manzarek keyboards and marimba and harpsichord, Robbie Krieger on the guitar, John Desmore on the drums. Bass player on this is Doug LaBarne, and Paul Weaver does do some moog as well. So the first track on here is the opening track. It's the title track, Strange Days. Very spacey sort of start. It's very dreamy. I love John's lovely little bit of drumming on that. A good track to open the album up with. Then we get You're Lost, Little Girl. This has actually got a really good bass line, and it's the most prominent thing on this track. You've got the intertwining quirky keyboard from Ray on that one. Then my second favourite track on the album, it's Love Me Two Times. I love Robbie's guitar work, and it's got a great little keyboard run in it as well. Jim's vocal is great on here. He's really delivering a fine vocal on that. Unhappy Girl is the next track. Lots of Ray little quirky keyboard bits, keeps the beat going, an excellent track. Then we have one of Jim's poems, Horse Latitudes, with loads of sort of effects on it. It's all right. Moonlight Drive. It's more about Robbie's guitar work on this. It drives the song along. It's a great track. Then we have the quirky People Are Strange, that iconic sort of Doors keyboard sound in there. The interplay with Robbie and Ray on that is excellent, and a lovely vocal from Jim on that one as well. Then we have My Eyes Have Seen You. Good little rocker this is. The drumming from John Desmore, fantastic. I Can't See Your Face in My Mind. Probably the weakest track on here, although it has got a bit of glockenspiel in it, I think. I think it just doesn't work for me. But the best track on here is the last track, and that's When the Music's Over. Classic Doors song this is. From the drumming from John to that lovely keyboard bit and the fabulous vocal delivery of from Jim. Great track to end the album. This was a tough sophomore because the Doors debut album was a killer, but this has got 3 classics on it. It sort of gets forgotten about. It's a really good album, and I do enjoy this. But what did the critics part say? So, apart from its lower commercial performance compared to the Doors, the reviews for Strange Days were generally positive. Rolling Stone said that the album had all the power and energy of the first, but is more subdued and more intricate and much more effective, and argued that the whole album, the individual songs and especially the final track, were constructed in 5 parts of a Greek drama. Gene Youngblood of LA Free Press wrote a glowing review and said, "Nothing the Doors' musical style is more surreal than psychedelic. It's more anguish than acid." And Robert Christgau called the album muscular but misshapen, but went to write that the Doors had come from nowhere to reign as America's heaviest group. So he had a little bit of positivity to say. So let's have a look at the review mark. So it's All Music gave it a 3-star out of 5. Classic Rock, a 3 out of 5 stars. Encyclopedia of Popular Music gave it a 3 as well. Music Helm gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Pop Matters 9 out of 10. Rolling Stone favourable. The Rolling Stone Album Guide gave it a 3 and a bit, and Slant gave it 4 and a bit. On the US Billboard, it got to number 3 in 1967, and it went platinum in Canada, gold in France, gold in Germany, UK, and the United Kingdom, and platinum in the United States. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this. Song quality, what do you expect? It's the The Doors, Jim Morrison, one of the finest songwriters, I think, in my opinion. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Production, excellent production. The keyboard production is wonderful. It's sharp, it's crisp. And reception, though it didn't get in the album charts over here, did well in America, but as time's gone on, you know, it's popular all over the world. The Doors are popular all over the world, so I'm going to give that 4. Cover design, this is bizarre. You wouldn't know it was a Doors album unless you looked at it. It's got a very small poster and strange. Looks like a circus freak show, doesn't it? Of all the Doors albums, this is the one I dislike. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. So for Strange Days by the Doors, give us a grand total of 14 out of 20. So the second album, again, the sophomore for Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis, Bold as Love, came out in 1967 as well, but was released in the United Kingdom on the 1st of December 1967. So on here we've got, of course, Jimi Hendrix on vocals, electric guitar, piano recorder, glockenspiel. On the bass guitar, the one and only Mr. Noel Redding, and foot stomping. On drums, the magnificent Mitch Mitchell. We've got additional people on. Gary Leeds does some foot stamping, Graham Nash foot stamping, Trevor Burton backing vocals, and Roy Wood on backing vocals as well on You've Got Me Floating. So the first track is called EXP. Very strange. It's a little virtuoso from Jimi. Lots of guitar effects. It's all right. But the first proper track is Up From the Skies. The drumming from Mitch on this is brilliant. And then some pretty cool bits from Jimi on the guitar. Some nice effects. Absolutely electric. Up next is my favourite track on here, and one of my favourite tracks by Jimi Hendrix Experience, Spanish Castle Magic. Solid bass from Noel, and then just Jimmy's. Oh, what great guitar playing. Then we have Wait Until Tomorrow. This now shows Jimmy's different styles of playing. This is a more gentler riff. None of the heavy stuff. It's no fancy stuff. It's just a nice, gentle riff. It's a very nice track as well. Ain't No Telling. Mitch's drumming is all over this, and I love Jimmy's guitar solo on it. I think it's one of the best ones on the album. Up next is Little Wing, one of the slower tracks on here. Another gentle, showing the more intricate side of Jimi Hendrix as a guitar player. Then we have If 6 Was 9, the classic track. The riffs on this are terrific. It's a good rocker. Some great drumming on this from Mitch. Then we have You Got Me Floating, a great track. More strong riffs from Jimi, but it's Mitchell's drumming that holds this track together. Castles Made of Sand, probably the best bass line on this album from Noel. I like the backward sounding guitar solo on it. Really makes it so psychedelic. Then we have a track called She's So Fine that Noel sings. It's a little bit different. Not a bad singer, but the best thing about this is Jimi Hendrix solo. Absolutely brilliant. Then we have One Rainy Wish. Very mellow, very psychedelic. There's some great playing on that from everybody. It's brilliant. A little bit smoother, the distinctive Mitch Mitchell drumming riff at the start. A great vocal from Jimi on his real solid sound. Jimmy's also got some nice little intricate guitars bits on there, and Noel's put a really groovy bass line on that. Then we have Bold as Love. I love the combination. One minute you've got it's Jimi driving the song, then Mitch comes in with a bit of drum to drive it along a bit more, and then comes Noel to do it as well. Pretty strong track, the best track on the album. and it's the last track. I like this album. Well, what I like about this hasn't got a lot of the big hits from the Jimi Hendrix experience. This is some crafted, wonderful tracks, and I do like this album. Okay, let's see what the critics thought of this album. In his preview of the album for the Rolling Stone, Nick Jones described this album at times as shatteringly beautiful, and highlighted the Spanish Magic Castle as the special one. Reviewing Axis in the same publication, Jim Miller hailed it as the refinement of white noise into psychedelia, the finest voodoo album that any rock group had produced to date. Q magazine wrote in retrospective of the album that it dazzles as the experience creates a genre probably short-lived because no one else could play it. But there was what someone found it least memorable and said that according to Richie Utterberger, it was the least impressive from the experience. Yeah, okay. So let's have a look at what the magazine says. So All Music gave it a 5 stars. Blender gave it a 3. Downbeat gave it a 4.5. Encyclopedia of Popular Music gave it a 5. The Great Rock Discography gave it a 9 out of 10. The Music Calendar 5 out of 5. Pop Matters gave it a 10 out of 10. Q gave it a 4. Rolling Stone a 5. And the album guide for the Rolling Stone 5. In the charts in 1967-68, made number 21 in Germany, 12 in Norway, 5 here in the UK, Billboard 3 and the R&B 6. Got 2 certifications, gold here in the UK and platinum in the United States. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts with Axis, Bold as Love. Song quality, excellent songs. As I said, there's not many hits, classic hits on here, but they're all very good songs. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. On production, some of the production, it wanes a little bit in there. Sometimes the mix on the guitar solos is not as crisp as on Are You Experienced. So I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. Reception, big hits all over the world. Just outside the top 20 in Germany. Norway, number 12. Gold and platinum, so I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. Cover design, I think this is a great cover. It's very psychedelic. The colours are wonderful. And you've got Jimi and all the sort of the mystique of the East and everything. I think it's a super cover. So I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. So for Axis, Bold as Love by the Jimi Hendrix Experience gives us a total of 17 out of 20. So points wise, a big win for Jimi Hendrix. Now these albums are great. I love them both to bits. On the Doors, you've got the 3, classics, People Are Strange and When the Music's Over. And they're great. But for some reason, this Jimi Hendrix album, because it's not got the Foxy Ladies and Voodoo Child on it, it's just got a great collection of songs that, for us, are classics, but for someone that's not really into more than like a greatest hits of Jimi Hendrix wouldn't know some of these tracks, and I think they are magnificent. So today I'm going to go with Jimi Hendrix and Axis, Bold as Love. So you know the drill. 2 p.m. today the poll goes up on the community. And then tonight in live stream there will be another poll. And I've put a few tracks in the playlist, so go and have a listen. Or if you're like me, you don't really need to listen because you listen to these albums all the time and you have a rough idea. And I had a rough idea this was going to go this way before I started. Okay, that's all for this one. I will be back later with a pick and mix, and this week we're going to have a trundle at the US top 10 on this day in 1964. So I'll be looking forward to that. So see you for that. Bye for now.